Can a decision from someone 10 years ago affect a pandemic today? I'm Ryan Chamberlain, and let's talk about it on Now You Know. Well, we're in the middle of a national crisis, and could some of it have been helped if we just didn't run out of some things? Well, have you ever run out of something you really needed? Maybe it's time. Have you ever ran out of gas? And what about money? It's not fun when the electric gets shut off. Now, one of the things that we need in times of a national health crisis is healthcare safety equipment. In recent days, some accusations have been circulating that the Obama administration allowed the N95 safety mask federal stockpile to be depleted. Is this true? Here's what the relatively liberal USA Today has to say about that. But first, what in the world is a federal stockpile? Established in 1999 to prepare the country for threats like pandemics, natural disasters, and acts of bioterrorism, the United States has used and maintained its strategic national stockpile during times of acute crisis in the healthcare system. Now, the stockpile has been used at least 13 times since its creation, including during the September 11, 2001 terror attacks. In 2005, the Bush administration published a report that urged investment in local and national stockpiles. 2006, Congress approved expanding the stockpile to include protective gear like N95 surgical masks. Now, during the presidency of Barack Obama, the national stockpile was seriously taxed as the administration addressed multiple crises over 8 years. According to USA Today, there's no indication that the Obama administration took significant steps to replenish the supply of the N95 mask. Calls for action came from experts, but such recommendations, for whatever reason, were not heeded. So yes, a decision from an elected official 10 years ago can affect the outcome of a pandemic today. It absolutely matters who we elect. Now's a good time to take a quick break in the middle of the show to let you know that I'm running for U.S. Congress in District 3 of Florida. Please take the time to connect with me at ryanchamberlain.com, where you can subscribe to email, social media, and text. I look forward to connecting, and if you like this video, share it. Now let's get back to the show. Now, I've been hearing people throw around phrases like N95 and other medical terms like they're experts on the subject. Now, if you're like me, you might not even know what an N95 mask even is. So I decided to pull on an actual expert onto the show with us. Welcome my guest, Dr. Gene Stewart from Central Florida, for a few questions about the N95. Dr. Gene, are you there with us?
Yes, Ryan. Good afternoon. How are you today?
I am doing great. Thank you for taking the time to be out of here. I know you're a medical doctor out of Central Florida. We appreciate you taking just a couple minutes today. Gene, real quick, before we jump into any questions, tell our viewers a little bit about your background and some of what you've been doing in the medical world the last so many years.
Well, probably the last 20 years, worked in and owned and operated integrative medical clinics where it's multidisciplinary. We use a lot of different therapies and treatments. And I've done that all over the state of Florida. For the last 7 years, I've specialized in addiction medicine, drug and alcohol addiction. So it's pretty varied background. I've seen a lot of different kinds of patients over the years, and I've had some incredible colleagues that I've had the pleasure of working with, and I've learned so much from them as well.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you for being on. You know, you talk about integrative health there. That leads me right into talking about masks. I mean, I would consider that pretty integrative thing from that standpoint, but tell us a little bit about the N95 mask. We're hearing this word N95. Those of us that don't have a medical background, you know, we don't know what N95 means necessarily. And then, you know, I want to understand your opinion why you might think or might not think the mask would work, and how many of them we would have to really help with what we're dealing with.
Right. Well, the N95, the thing that separates the N95 from other masks like surgical mask and cloth mask are two words, fit, F-I-T, and filtration. That kind of mask form fits to the face, so there's no holes to leak out anything. And that's critical. It also, the 95 refers to the fact that it filters 95% of small particles, which would include viruses as well. Things could still get through, 5%, but 95% are going to be stopped by that mask. The challenge with it is there's a shortage of those masks, and they're keeping them for medical professionals, preferably the frontline people at the hospitals that are taking the brunt of the assault right now. So that's the difference. They're much safer. They're more likely to filter things out, but they've got to fit a certain way. That's the important thing. So it fits, something like this. Now, this will filter out larger particles. It's not going to stop regular viruses. The problem is there are big gaps in this mask, under here. And with an N95, I would have to shave my beard for it to be effective because it would not fit over that beard.
So your thoughts, Gene, on the entire population trying to get masks? Of course, there's a shortage, so that's not likely to happen. But how effective do you think the more masks we get out there, the faster we can help slow this down? Is that an effective strategy to try to get masks into the marketplace?
I think it is. The N95s are going to be slow in coming because of the prioritization into the medical community. These you can make yourself, just a couple pieces of fabric and elastic. We now think, or they're starting to say, they think that the virus can be actually transferred just by talking and breathing on people. So the social distancing is probably even more important than we understood.
Well, Gene, thank you so much for being on with us today. In closing, let's remember that our country was founded on God's word. And in these times, putting our faith in his word can make all the difference. John 16:33 says, "These things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer, I have overcome the world." Now you know.